Hey, good morning. I'm going to jump right into stuff. I know a lot of people are barely coming on, but I'm going to try something a little bit different this morning. Let's see where I'm at with actually, guys, I need to talk to somebody here. I'll be right back with the volume anyway, so we can get this straightened out at the other on the bottom studio here. Okay. Yeah, I came on a little late here, guys, so I just had to make sure they were doing. So yeah, we're going to try something a little bit, same strategy, but we're going to open it up to some different stocks by changing. So I just created a new scanner, and let me go to the scanner setting right here. Are we on? Everything's, I can't tell if we're working correctly here. Yeah, seems like we're live. Okay. All right. Good morning again. So this is the new scanner I just created. I coded in a bunch of stuff so that we can get a little bit wider range. I lowered the price a bit. I put it much lower to a 2 billion market cap minimum rather than it was at 25. So now we're including mid cap in here, but then I changed what's your volume per candle to 50, a minimum of 50,000. So that should open up. What I'm a little worried about is if we're going to get that action in between, but trading the same 6 stocks every day was getting a little monotonous. So I felt we needed to try with this strategy. And I don't trade the same all the time like that either, but I was trying to get something that was just a cookie cutter thing for everybody to use. So I will, if this ends up working, I will make this scanner available. I did lower the ATR to 1.5, $1.50. So most of these are, like, there's one that fit in there. Yeah, I was looking at this earlier, like the IBIT, to see if that's actually potential tradable with the right flow. That would be interesting, right? But most of them are, above the ATR that we did have too. And most of it didn't cut out. It cut out like a few in the price, like Tesla, a couple others that we probably wouldn't normally trade. But I have kept the other scanner here too, that we normally use. So, we'll be checking them, and I'll start with that right now. Let's just take a look at the news they put together here, real quick. Fed independence under policy review, political review. That's not good news to hear. Yeah, again, that's just a bunch of crap if he messes with the Fed, but whatever. See, Waller pushes for a July rate cut. Governor Christopher Waller argues the Fed should cut. So they're putting this stuff out through different. I'm sure it's all White House driven to try to control so that the economy looks better for the White House. But I just feel like he's been doing a really good job. I'd hate to mess with that. It needs to be kept independent and not be pressured. Let's see, low probability of July Fed rate cut. Yeah, it's a low probability. I think that's probably a smart move. That's just my opinion. There's an upcoming Fed chair speech coming up today in Washington. It's at a banking conference, so likely to provide market cues to signal policy stance. He'll probably say he's not going to cut. That actually might, when that kicks off later today, that might affect markets depending on what he says. Large caps are hitting new highs. So we've broadened the news here a little bit because of what I just did on the scanner. So ETFs and OEF hit 52-week high rising. Well, we can certainly see that. Mega caps lead broader S&P earnings strong. Tech cools. Market cautious ahead of the Fed and the tariffs wrap. So again, we have that tariff deadline. We know we got to deal with Japan, but what's going to happen? Policy and trade, new tariffs on Philippines and Indonesia. Well, none of this is really big enough. I think that Fed speech later at the banking could affect us. And then, of course, anything Trump might say between now and when we're trading. I don't know. Let's get a look at my only open position right now is right here from yesterday. So it got worse than better. So I'm expecting a pop this morning. I'm not going to trade on. I don't think I'll add shares to this. Even if it pops up, I'll just, hopefully have an opportunity to get out for a profit, early today. But we'll keep an eye on it. So that's not going to happen. I'm not going to be trading that. But let's get a look at this other. So this, I'm just curious as to the volume here. It says that its volume is 2 million right now, and its average is well over 120,000 on a 1 minute. That's obviously pre-market. So let's take a look at this. It's an interesting chart pattern. So let me look at the day first. Well, that's some pretty good consolidation over the last few days here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Looks like 7, 8 had a high up here. So that's not too bad. Our ATR is pretty low. So you're not going to get big swings, probably. Everything's probably. And this is how you should look at, depending on what you want to trade, this is how you should look at, your risk level depending on the overall movement. That had a high over here. So let's get our fibs on this one, just so we can get a beginning spot here. 170.07. Here we go. Yeah, so we're right into this big channel. So that's a pretty big channel. So I don't know how this reacts to historical data. It should be no different than anything else, which is you can't really count on it till you can count on it. But I like that it's moving in this channel right here. So this is affording some. Look at how many times that tapped right there. Boom, boom, boom. This is affording some possibilities. Does this hit as it goes across? Yeah, it does. See right over here. So this could be a spot here. Now we're getting out of the price zone. So let me move over and see what we really got out of that. one level right here that may or may not be respected. This might be an interesting one to look at pretty early on. Well, that did hit pre-market right there a couple times. So we are looking for levels in this channel, so that's why I'm kind of smoothing maybe stuff that could be used here. So this is a pre-market level, see it? That's actually aftermarket, and then pre-market hitting that. But then what happened before? I hit it over here. It's like the pre-market darling here. It's smoothed a little bit between here, but yeah, I think that's enough tapping to put that there. I'm getting outside of the box with the, marking these now, so I think I'd stop with that, and we can assess when the market opens if it's something we want to work with. So let's go to, this is the one that came up. I actually put a position in on this, and then it dropped right after I did. So we had this mark. There's a high. I think my position's up here somewhere in my IRA. I didn't put a lot of shares in. I think like 1,000 shares maybe. But, I would watch it drop and go, Jesus. So let's go ahead and do a fib on this now. Settling right here. Might be interesting to see. We have any historical data, could be here maybe, but God, did it ever. It does look like it hit pre-market over here off this level. Oh, hit right here. That's where it hit. Let's go ahead and mark that because it's in the zone that we might trade at it, and it does seem like it hit it. I'll smooth that up a bit. Actually, I'll smooth it down here because I'll hit more pre-market. So that's a little off, but again, they're just guidelines, so I would keep these for now. And, it'd be great if it got up into those levels, but yeah, might be marking intraday on these. And that's one of the things to think about here if we start to trade these is how valid will intraday levels be? Are they going to retrace to constant levels more on the mid caps? That'd be kind of fun to see what happens here. Now here's the next one coming down on. This is the scanner I'm working off of that I've reset. So these are the ones, and it goes. I have it set for 20 deep. So obviously we want to go with the higher volume ones first. And it might not be that obvious. I mean, these are over 500,000. These are all over 50,000 per minute, or it can't even hit the scanner. So I don't have the room on this screen because I got all this stuff up here, so I don't want to make it too big here. But so let's go down to Google, which was the next one on that, more expensive one than what we were just looking at. That's not looking too good for consolidation. That's just a steady up there. Yeah. So that's a little scary. This might have been ATRs for a breakout strategy. I might have traded that for the open. I'm not sure why I have those there, but so yeah, that's not. I don't think I'm going to mark that one out. Let's keep it on the day here and go to this one, which is software company. Oh, this must have been a new IPO. It's got no history. Yeah, I don't really keep up on every stock, guys. So I don't know. I'm working with my news reader people to get it more apropos for this too, which is not. It's going to be behind if this works, but we'll get it going. So yeah, I would not even touch this. So too new. Now AMD comes up. That's a pretty good daily. Let's take a look at the 5-minute. Now, a lot of times I won't trade this because it is so slow, but what I talked about in my recap and just overall informational video that I put out yesterday afternoon was that I feel like I've been forcing the trades to fit in the time limit, because really this is sort of a derivative of the RV strategy that I'm trading, and that doesn't start till 10. So I'm trying to force these in between 9:30 and 10. And what I've been doing is I take an open, I trade the opening candle to try to get ahead immediately, and that hasn't been working too well. And then then I look for consolidating, and there was one day in particular there was nothing, and I forced it, and I went red. I was forcing. There's a reason the RV strategy starts a half hour after market opens. That's a lot of strategies start them because you get an idea of what the market's doing, in between highs and lows. And I'm pushing it in early, so I'm time managing so I can come on with you guys, because you're a separate set of traders, and I trade with like 3 different sets of traders. So I am trying to find something we can work with every morning. So now that's the reason why I've expanded the scanner to see if maybe this RV strategy derivative can be working with mid caps, or at least different parameters, So that's why we're doing what we're doing, for those of you that are already on this morning. That ATR is still accurate here. Yeah, because the low wouldn't have changed. So let's get a look at this historical data. Boy, that wasn't marked anytime recently. Look how that picked up, boy. This is what I mean about historical. So that was that mark, and this is this mark. And then you can see now over the days, because I think we marked it for a trading day over here, because I haven't traded this in a while. You can see how they just keep getting respected. That's why you want to get into learning how to look at that one. You want to get into learning how to marking these levels. So that's enough of a spike there in pre-market to mark that for today. This might be one to look at the opening, just to see if we have any opportunities there, because it probably should be traded long bias. But now that we're getting closer to, there's an announcement today. Well, he's just talking to the bankers, so we don't know if the chair is going to, what he says is going to, I'm sure he's going to say he's not going to cut rates. I think everybody already expects that. So I'm just thinking out loud. So I don't know if I would trade an opening trade on this. I'm kind of soured on the opening trade things. I always tell you guys not to trade them. Now I have to tell myself maybe not to trade them, because it seems like it just instantly goes the opposite direction. Well, I think I'm doing better than 50-50, but it's close. And then I tend to hold, because it's stupid. I don't cut it like it's the RV. It's not this large cap retracement strategy that we're trading. So I hold it and I make it a swing, because I'm not having that scalp same cutoff mentality of 10, 15 cents that I do as we go deeper, which I will for the most part maintain. I'm not just going to keep switching. However, if I'm trading something like Apple or Nvidia, I may just say I'm going to swing this because I believe it's going to come back, and I'm going to switch stocks. So you may see me do that, but that doesn't mean follow what I do. I get this, I assess it, and I go, yeah, it's hurting me down. I'm down a couple $100, but I know it's going to come back. So it did with Apple, and I talked about that on my came back to the tune of $1,500 profit, but it just basically wiped out the loss from the previous day. And then I think Nvidia is going to come up too, but I don't know. Something weird could happen today that shoots that down, and I don't know how long I'd hold that. If anybody else is holding it with me, I don't know how long I'd hold that as we get closer to August 1st, because it could do like a $30 adjustment or something. We just don't know. So I'm hoping for a way to get out this morning as quickly as possible. As we go deeper, I worry about holding that, So that's where I'm at right now. That's really not that painful for me. I mean, it's already gone up. But I'm hoping for a spike. I don't want this to go down like 5K if it just starts hitting. That's how I got hurt when I took a $144 position and it dropped all the way down eventually to 83. I got out long before then. But, yeah, it was a big hit. But then I made it on the way back up, which was good. But, yeah, it was just... History. Okay. So what were we on? Were we on that one? No, we were on AMD, right? So we passed that one. Okay, then Palantir comes up next on the new scanner. So let's take a look at the daily on that. That's, it's a pretty big swing, but that's actually a pretty big swing, 47 to, wow, that's pretty volatile on a daily chart, man. It almost looks like it's consolidating, but I don't really call that consolidating. Look at the swing, 145 up to, that's a $10 swing you might get caught up in. So that's a little scary. I don't know what it looks like on the 5-minute. I think we did make some money yesterday, lost and then came back on this stock. Here's your intraday ones. So we're not gonna keep, most of these are probably useless. So that one, no. I don't know. This thing has to be consolidating, like in a 30 to 50 cent, back and forth channel. So we can take a look at it with intraday markings, but that's basically how the strategy works, guys. And I've been pushing it. So, and we're still ahead of the game for the month, but I had my first red day on this, and that's not something I want to keep doing. Now this looks pretty good, hood, at least right now. And then it did consolidate back here. What's our swing? Well, that's a lot in just a few days. So it's showing you the potential of what could happen, right? So the fib is, obviously anything can happen, but I'm speaking in general terms. I hate to keep putting a disclaimer after every word I say. So you're just going to have to figure it out for yourself. Obviously, you need to speak to a financial advisor. Right? Read that. Pause and read. All right, guys, be careful. Only trade with money you can afford to lose. And practice in a sim, or practice with like one share for a long time until to really see if this is going to work for you. Do not follow my trades exactly. You can look to see what I do, but you need to make your own choices, right? Now, there's I continually get old school people telling me that I shouldn't do this. I know usually if I'm getting an angry email, they're struggling themselves, and this is probably why, because it didn't work for them. So, but I've always said, like, successful traders don't critique other traders. It's only when you're having trouble that you do that. Whether you're too busy making money or you just understand how hard it is, you just don't do it. So you kind of putting yourself out there like, hey, I'm not doing well at all, so I'm going to go attack somebody else. So, this is the guidelines I'm using for this strategy, but you need to come up with your own guidelines. This has gotten me into trouble the last 3 days, but the swings got me out of it. But I have deep pockets. Now, Charlie did do good with, she did come back from Apple with just the 5-share to 20-share deal, so it worked for her, but she had to stop trading, till it came back. So that's disturbing too, if you can't make the money. So she lost the day. And then I can't remember if she's in the NVIDIA thing. Are you in it? Yeah, she's in a NVIDIA position too. So NVIDIA. So yeah, you can, if you follow me exactly and you don't have deep pockets, it could be a problem, or it could be a problem if you have deep pockets, So it is not for everybody, but this is what I use. And I think if you set to your max loss, what's usually happening is you're getting stopped out because it drops so much. So you're out of it anyway and you hit max loss. And it's not going to be a lot because it's your max loss that you can handle per trade if you followed that. If you stayed in it and just said, to heck with max loss, the professor isn't doing it. I don't have a max loss, guys. So I don't really want to set one, because here's the deal. I want to show you different ways to trade, but I want to make money. Even when I'm here, even though it's smaller than usual, I want to make money. I don't want to lose money. So if I see a viable way for me to be successful in the trade, I will take it. So you have to set your own guidelines. So the teaching only goes to a certain level. So that's why this may not be for you. But pretty much what I usually say is just 99% of your trades should just be a quarter of what you're willing to go to. Just get in and out at that and never average in. And I always say, if you're going to average into your half position or more, make sure the stock's going back in your direction. You'll see me not do that sometimes because I'm looking a lot at an overall, like, well, if it doesn't now, it will soon. And I can hold out. I have multiple accounts, multiple platforms that I trade with. And I'm afforded this lucky stuff. So it might not be for everybody. Anyway, hopefully you've had enough time to look at that. So, and I don't want to get super defensive and have a conversation about all the angry people and let them take over the channel and let them, use their, use my forum to get out their message. Start your own forum. Do your own thing. If you got something to say, man, everybody will probably want to hear it. And you might have some really good, valid points, but just don't hijack my channel. Go start your own. All the big traders that you see, and the biggest one, which is Warrior Trading, he doesn't let any crap go through his chat. Nothing. He has somebody monitoring, like, bam, you're gone. Just like, he's a genius marketer more than trading, because he makes millions of dollars selling $3,000 courses and stuff, and he obviously knows what he's doing. But that type of trading isn't for everybody. I have a thing where I don't usually mention other traders at all. I'm breaking down. I've alluded to him. I'm breaking down to mentioning him because I think that his strategy can work for a lot of people. But I do think it's much more dangerous than what I just showed you on my large cap. And it's really expensive. He's a marketing genius. He makes his more money marketing than he does trading. There's just no question about it. He gets so many people. But anyway, we won't. So, but yeah, I usually, after his motto, I don't let people hijack the channel. I mean, I'm a tiny, small guy, but, take your nonsense to somebody else. Like, that's just my statement for all of those that have been doing that. So let's see. On Hood, yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't be my first choice. We're down deeper onto the scanner here. So we've come down a bit. This is long. I've stretched this across several screens. I have 6 screens above me, but so I don't know if we will. I guess we'll go to one more down and just see what this does. You can see right here. I'm not on the daily anymore, am I? Let's open the daily. Oh, wow. That's not all that bad looking, huh? What have we got for range? $40.56, $47, $6, and then a lot of in between. That could be possible. What's our volume looking on these things? These are average daily and 10-day right there. That's why I have this on the day chart. That's a free script over at the $1 Million Margin Club. You should get that. I gave that to him to put out for free. So when you're doing a quick assessment, it's perfect because now we have more stocks to go by. That's the reason the ATR is over here too, because this is giving you the ATR average, previous average. So this stock doesn't look too bad actually. This is a technology sector. Let me open how much time do we have? Only 4 minutes left. Let me just see about marking this real quick. Wow, I hit those things right on. Let's see, historical data in this area. You got that one. Did that get picked up anywhere else? Yeah, pre-market levels there. Look at that. Hit across, boom, spiked. This is what you do. This is why you do that, because you can see many days later why they get respected. It might be today where you might see it already stopped right there. I don't really see, do I have any right here? Maybe here. if it gets that high. Okay, so now I have to talk, and I have to put out in the next few minutes what am I going to do today, right now. And let me take one more look at how bad it is. Oh, it's getting better. So it is spiking up today. My position is 169.96. I do want to watch this, and I will probably flip over here to make a move on this if it shoots up at all this morning. It gives me an opportunity. But since we can't trade, well, I'm probably not going to trade the opening trade. So let's talk about that first. So I probably won't take an opening trade. For those of you that have just stepped in here, we have widened our parameters for scanning to include mid-cap that are doing over 50,000 volume per minute on average. And we came up with a bunch more possible stocks to trade in a consolidating fashion. To recap, I've been forcing the trades in prior to the 10 a.m. because that's when we're trading, and this is a derivative strategy of the RV strategy, which is a large cap retracement basically in channel trading, and that's never really been back tested. It was tested earlier before 10 a.m. and it didn't work that well. So here I am forcing trades so we can get something going together, and I think I need to change the parameters of what stocks I'm trading. That's an idea, and then maybe it'll work so we can discover this together. I don't have a lot of data as to whether this is going to be, oh, how come the, oh, there it is. Okay, just the music stopped. If this is going to work, but I certainly know scalping works. So forcing it though has caused me to take swing trades, and then if some of you followed me, you hit your max loss, and that's not good. So we're going to try to not. I think I will watch this at the open because it may get me out. So I'm going to watch this. That's what I'm going to do at the open. And then we'll come back to, we'll let it consolidate a little bit to get us into the market, just a little bit. But this spike could take me way up, to where it dropped. So take a look there to see if I have an opportunity to. I'm not going for a big profit on this. I don't trust it so close to August 1st. I did not plan to hold it into a swing. So this is just a recovery defensive mode. This is why I took the swing, not I can't wait to make big money on the swing. So where am I here? I have so many alarms for so many different things. I don't know if you guys hear them in my personal life. But we're going to get this trade off the board here. And I'll reset it. I just want to make sure nothing stops me from getting out quickly if I can get out. And we are opening in 25 seconds. I need to sell to get out. Sell, not buy. That's another thing with so many things going on, talking to so many people at once, and then literally being on stage. It's like, remember to actually trade correctly. Here we go. There we go. Might give me an opportunity here. That was a much smaller loss. Wow. That was nice. That was nice. Now that's not a real number, so don't freak out because I was holding it from the day before, but we'll check to see what happened. But now I'm feeling very happy I got out of that, and I'm not going to take a trade on this right away. We can watch it for a minute just to see. But so I recovered from yesterday, so that's good. One of the reasons I wanted to be here is because I thought that kind of thing might have happened. And I think I got it pretty darn close to the level there. Let's see. All my alerts. Sell. So I got it. I sold it at 170.20. Nice. So I was at 96, right? 69.96. So I got 400 shares plus 24 cents. 400 times 24. Somebody do that math quick. So, you know, I made over my money that I would have from yesterday. So I got back that 100 if we don't count it for today's trade. So this is, you know, this is not what I really made because I lost yesterday, if you're getting what I'm saying. So, but I'm redeemed. So I get more upset. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, you know, because I'm live and I'm trying to show you something and it's not working. And although I might be profiting somewhere overall, it's like, no, you know, I want to be a winner on screen. So it gets, it can, you know, I can actually lose sleep over that stuff, you know, thinking about, God, why did I do that same stupid thing and chase the opening candle? What am I doing, you know? Yeah. When I say things like I'm only human, I'm implying that you think I was better than human. So there's no way to really even comment on it. It's like, yeah, I don't think I'm better than. But, you know, I thought about that when I made that remark, like, well, I'm only human. Well, of course they know that. Why are you acting like you're putting yourself above? Anybody can be doing what I'm doing. Anybody, a different share size, I mean, depending on your financial situation, but it's the same thing. So, yeah, apparently people think that it went too low and it should get back up into the 70s. But I can tell you I have just a bad feeling about it. So I'm going to go switch to one of our mid caps to see how this is shaken out. That went down and hit those levels, huh? Look at that, historical data. Bam, 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 bam. Huh? Wow. We need these things. We need to take a breath and get these things to consolidate like they're supposed to be for us. We can't start trading these yet. I don't want to force trades here. We want to look at the end of the day. Yesterday or on the recap, I was showing you what we're looking for, those channels where I came back from the on Palantir, where I was able to come back from its red and get it green. It was because I waited for the channel. See, this hasn't found a bottom and then spring back to a top. So we need to wait a few minutes. Let me go. The other one I looked at was AMD. Let me just open the 1 minute before I go to all that trouble on the 5 minute. So this seems to have found a top. It broke the ATR for the day. It's the half mark, guys. That's the RV ATR. Okay, so the full ATR is up here. For those, I know we keep getting confusion on that. So if you look on the day chart, you know I have the half and the whole. That's based on the RV strategy. This is based on a lot of other strategies that you want to set your parameters. You know what your overall goal is in between those parameters there. I think I'm going to stick with this one right now. I'm a more of a mega large cap kind of trader and just see if it's not working. But we did see on the mid caps that there are some interesting stocks to trade. I don't know. We definitely want to look at one before I go off today. But right now, I think for the earlier move, we'll take a look at this one and see if it's gonna trend or if it's gonna. It seems. I guess I would play it long biased. By the way the market's going, so QQ and the SPY both up on the market pulse. 5 minute through the 4 hour are all showing green on this stock. Let's get a look at this news. So apparently Taiwan's helping out. Elon Musk is lending a helpful hand, really? Yeah. There. So that is actually might be received pretty good. Yeah. for AMD and for NVIDIA today. So that could move it up. Let's get this to be over 500 blocks and see how that changes that time at sales for me. You can get a better look swaling, like buyers versus sellers in here, when you're trying this type of strategy. So kind of depends on the stock too. That's pretty high for a stock that's, oops, let's not get this down here. We'll try 100 to start with, guys. I'll just go down to 100 shares. So let's try it. I've allotted a little bit more time, but we'll see. I like this. It's starting to move. So it's going off the whole dollar. It's stopping at the 157. So now if your chart doesn't look the same, I mean, mine's wicked sensitive. We call them shadow wicks. Sometimes the price isn't even where the wick is. And then I think it has something to do with high frequency algorithms, but I don't know. So the market magnet's right here, set for today under my picture. You can't see. It's not on 1 day, 1 minute. It's today, 1 minute. So it broke that 157. It might be time to try it down here. It's a little early. We're into the second 5-minute zone here. This between these two red lines. That this might be an interesting spot at the 56.50 to try a swing upward on a buy, because I am going to be playing it long biased. You can see it's not really giving us much with 100 shares. It's not going to give us much. There's our target green versus our target red based on the last 9 candles, which it now has. So this can be, well, you can't count the opening. Actually, I wouldn't count the first couple. So we're not really, I wouldn't really think these are quite legit yet. So it didn't go down enough. So I'm going to be patient here. Now, being long biased doesn't mean that I won't go short here. So ATR could be a level. It's got some backup here. 20 cents higher roughly. And then the whole dollar is 50 cents, a little bit more than, right around 50 cents. Yeah, so it's 57.50 is where your ATR is too. So interesting. Is it gonna tighten up for us here? That would even be better if we get some real consolidating here. So let me go ahead and put a level here. It might be too soon to count on that being the level, because it didn't go down to the 50. It did make a tweezer there. If you look at the 5-minute, you're nowhere near ready to call a level. Like, it's just not. But we're going into the real tight moves here. Try to get something going that isn't a ridiculous shot in the dark. If it stops here again, you know, that's going to give us some validity at this level. There's the market magnet's right there telling you that it's hitting outside its 50% range, like, you know, an average area for it to stop. Okay, so it went down. It's getting down to the 85. I'm getting ready to buy in down here, guys. I'd like to see it push through there and maybe get closer to the $0.50 down there, but it's not. It's just going to go right up, huh? There's the 85 again. I'm going to go in there, guys. So I went in knowing that it could still go down. So I would average into half my position at this level right here, 156.50. But not until then. And then if it breaks that and continues, I'm going to get out. I'm not going to keep averaging in. You do have a fib backup down here, but I don't want to get too far underwater to recover, because we are pushing it a little earlier than we should for channel trading here. It does seem to be pulling back, though, which is good to get back up there if you look at the swelling. So I'm at 82 right now, 73 on that. So what do we got for just a 2-cent spread? Oh, there it goes. So now I'm thinking about getting in down there, probably by the bid if it gets down there, to make sure I get the best level. Remember, stick to your max loss. I looked away at the 5-minute chart and didn't see the level 2 hit my mark. I guess it hit 50 cents for a second. Then it went back to 51. Yeah, it's just okay. I'm going to go ahead and get in there. So now I'm 200 shares, and it's getting painful if it doesn't turn around quick. So my new position's 65. So it hasn't been there since, this area here, this 2 candles ago. So, if it does a big drop, I'm going to, okay, so good. It made me green. I'm going to hold it a little longer. I'll take that. There we go. $38 trade. So it did come back. I am going to get rid of this level right here. Oh, that's an older level. I thought I just drew that. Interesting. So, well, that's right at the 50 cent too. So that must have been picked up historically as well. So let's see if we really get a range between the ATR and then down here at the 50 cent. It gives us a backup. I would wait now. I wouldn't get in at the 85 anymore if I was going long. I would wait for it to break down here. And on the short, it's still, I don't know. Still don't really want to go off that ATR quite yet on a short, because I think it's going to go up today. But let's see, it already did go up from open. So we're already above the open, right? The open way over here at the 156.50 area. So this is more of the open area down here. Just take your time. You can. I was doing this later in the day. I was just taking chop, just little tiny moves, and it worked. It's free to trade. It's just, it's risky, and it definitely is a skill. 4-6 cents. Just like get in, get out, get in, get out, and it takes away that need to I feel to trade. I get this urge, and that's the only time if you're going to do something, out of boredom, which is terrible because you should never trade out of boredom, right? That's the message. But if you're just taking little moves and you're not willing to go red more than like $5 or $10, then it's hard to get too far out of it. I'm not adding in. I'm just like in and out, in and out. If I call it wrong, I get out. So that's another. That's like the old-fashioned just way to scalp without channels. So here we go. If it rejects off this, it's really good news for us because it's establishing a real good potential channel for us. So I don't think I'd take it. I might take it up here, but I don't know because then it would be support, right? So I think I'd just wait. Now, if you think about it like you have 1,000 shares. You have 1,000 shares. You don't want to be wrong, right? So let's just pretend we're trading 1,000 shares and we're waiting for something that gives us more confirmation than just a level. Now the magnet pulled up and the MACD set up, so there are more things saying this is going to go up. Let me take a look at this. I haven't even looked at this yet. You can see the buyers fading with the volume here. So it is telling you that it's tired of going up here. So you had multiple, you had conflicting messages here, but this is the strongest one, right? That buyers weakened as it got higher. That's why this is such a cool indicator. Then you can see in the moment of what's happening. So, stopping at that 157, keeps hitting it here. You can see it, pounding, it broke it. So I would wait. I would want to wait for it to get down here. Let's see if it's tightening, if it's going to really tighten its channel. Then we could use another level. But right now it's too soon to think that this might be a support. I wouldn't. That's where the magnet is too, so that's helpful. But let's let it break that. So 77 strong here. It didn't go to the top of the candle, but yeah, so there it goes. So it broke it down. So we're looking for it to get down toward that 50 cent. See how hard it hits it. There it is. Did it pick me up? 51. I feel like I'm in a really good position there. Yeah, so that wasn't bad. What do I have? 33. So I got a $21 quick trade there, and it's like worth getting it again here as it bangs it. I'll go ahead and try to pick it up again. Got it again. It's not swelling up as strong. I might take a smaller victory here. Yeah, there's one. I get it at $8. I think it's going to be 8, maybe 11.56. Should swell up. There it goes. So that's 3 good trades. I'm feeling good about the way these levels are being called here. The 50 cent level, that's where the crowd trades, man. So now we have to wait. You can't get, because it's way above it. So, and you don't want to keep seeing it pounding because it might break it down like a flat top down, flat bottom, and just break it down. Shorters were really strong, but now we see a reversal in that kind of attitude. That was actually, when I saw that volume going up, I was actually getting concerned to be in that long position. That's why I didn't want to wait for as big a profit. But now look what would have happened. I would have made a lot more money. Just played it safe, But, so have I shorted yet? I don't think so. Yeah. So we're looking for a rejection. So if it keeps rejecting here, then I'll put a level here. Yeah, so there's that. Is that being respected at all? It tapped it here. I'm looking at this line, 85. Because I drew that as a very intraday, like a tweezer move early on, so I don't want to get too caught up in that level. Yeah, I'm just going to get rid of this level. I'm not liking it. It doesn't seem like it's really something I should watch closely. So a whole and half dollar. There's our channel right now. And then we'll look for the ATR as a backup channel. Nothing else is really screaming out. Technically, this should go this length up off of this move, off of a tweezer move. Make sure you get the Candlestick Pattern Playbook, guys, from the $1 Million Margin Club, who I am. They're my only sponsor. I have a link to that. It's a really good, because it's the only one that rates them. So 50. Oh, it's a whole 50 cents. So this should go up if it followed the move. It should go up to $57. I mean $57.50. A little bit below because it didn't. No, right there. That length. Yeah, that length was a 50 cent length of the body only, not the wick. But you have a reversal sign right there that kind of trumps that. Let's see. Not as in the President Trump. Here we go. So now the question is it going to break? It keeps trying to break it, so I'm slightly more hesitant as it comes down, but I probably will go for it, knowing that at 50 cents later I can. I did that on a 200. Okay, let me lower that back down so I'm safer. That's why that went up a little faster, though. But it's like, if you're so confident in the move, you might as well go higher share size. If you just remember that you're already half in your position. You're not trying to average down or average in twice more. It really is respecting the 157. It keeps knocking it and turning around. It's just the second I short it. Let's take a look. This is when you want to look at bigger windows here just to see. It's at 157.24. It hit there with a 5 minute and a 2 5 minutes, a red and a green up here. Yeah. So that wasn't that long ago, guys. So we're on our new 5 minutes. See the vertical lines here? That was a 15 minute there. So that one's still red. Market seems to be saying it wants to go down, which AMD is one of those movers. So It's a mega cap stock. NVIDIA is, yeah, it dropped back down from where I got out. So it never recovered back up again. So I'm glad I got out right away. Okay, here we go. Do I call it again? 54 on the bid. 54 is as low as it's been on the bid. It wants to pound it. I'll take that. When I get that at 47, I could already get out. Already get a nice profit with just 100 shares. That wasn't bad. See how it respected that level, guys. So just trading with 100 shares. Most of you should be able to do that. Obviously, if you've made your PDT, no problem. Depends on how you're seeing the level. I'm seeing it at that 50 cent, like a big, is it going to flat top here again or break it? Man, it's really, look at the channel it's making for us. Now, remember, the second you absolutely count on this channel, it's going to hop channels. So you always have to be prepared. You don't just go like, I'm all in, everything I have on this move. Don't do that. But it does seem to be breaking down here. So, you know, you look right there. It broke the 157. So I would wait for it to, if it starts to go up here, I'm not going to take it on the retracement, looking for a retracement. I'm going to wait to see if it's trying to make a new move. So I'm more hesitant to go short than long right now, as you can probably tell. Trading at long biased, really. So here we go. Will it hit that ATR? There I will take it for a retracement, thinking that it won't go up really, really strong. But knowing that I can add to it again, you know, up into here. I'm only starting at 100 shares, so only 1/4 of my position. And it's just not going to get up there. It's fading. I'm not going to write it down, guys. I'm going to wait for the buy to go up. Being long biased here. If it starts to fade, you go, why don't you just write it down? Well, I'm not sure it's not done going up yet. Look for that 57.50. Depending on how hard it hits it, I might go in right then, or I might wait just a sec. Spreads as much as 5 cents, so I'm going to sell the ask to get in. Oh, it faded. The scalping indicator, the buyers took over again. I mean, they faded, but they're still, the sellers took over is what I meant to say. Yeah. So this faded off the top. It kind of told you, gave you somewhat of a, and then it tapped the top of the 50%, which is the market magnet of the overall volume profile. That's what that is. And that's something that you should, for the most part, trust on a pretty regular basis. It's set specifically for large caps. That is something to keep in mind when we trade mid caps. I'm not sure how, I can adjust the market magnet and make another script, but this is specifically designed for large cap trading. See, that's why I didn't want to write it down and thinking it was going to go all the way to here. It's long bias today. You should think long bias, should I say. But speak to a financial advisor. There's the 50. It's the trip that it took that scared me to get there. Like it now wants to break that ATR. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go for it. I'm going for it. Making a trade. Just 100 shares. Looking for a little profit on a retracement back down. Let's see if I get anything decent, more than $4. Not going to add anytime soon here. Tried to get out for a small amount there, like $9, but here it comes. All right, so we're at 94. I was much more tentative going short, and if I held it, I'd be way bigger profit. So, well, I had it at 54, right? So it's only 10 cents still, so $10. So yeah, suddenly it seemed like it dropped way up, but I didn't have it at that position. So let's see if it's going to make a new channel here. If it just starts banging off the ATR, which is highly respected, we can look at this as our new low. But we have to wait now because it's now moved away from here. So you can't rely on this anymore. Nor do we want to wait for it forever either. So let's see if it's going to make another. It goes down. Well, it'd be great if it dropped way down now, because I would definitely grab it down here. Wow. So the question is, do I grab it sooner at the 157 maybe? And I think I would. Is that where I was grabbing it? No, I was at the 50 cents. No, it was 157, wasn't it? No, it was at the 50 cents I've been grabbing it. Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to remember. So yeah, I think I would probably be, there's the 9 kind of holding it up. That's our average. So we're still more long bias if you look at the risk oscillator, that it's definitely telling you think about long more than short. So if I got into a position here, I'm feeling safer about it, but I'd like it to dip down a little further than that high off the even dollar. That's pretty in the middle of a area here that I'm not feeling comfortable. So let's just wait to see if it gives us a better opportunity. Went down to 19 cents above the dollar. It wants to suck you in right here. I kind of feel unsafe. I want to wait. You know, could have made money there, but there's 16 cents if I gotten in down to the 20 cents. But again, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Playing it safe. Okay, so the market magnet looks like it's going to pull up, which will move these arrows and give us a new channel. So let's see if that's what's going to happen. See it hit coming in here. So a lot of volumes just happened. So watch that purple line go up. It's like a springboard. Yeah, it's going to pop up any second, I believe. The buy-sell oscillator is telling you no. It's on the verge of popping, you know, so it does seem to be respecting this ATR level. That's a good strong move down. See, the buyers didn't make the sellers volume. You can see here on the Scalp Pro. And inside we have even money. You know, it's just, but look at more and more are gonna pull this up. And then it's like it hits a new floor because of this. Wow, a lot of volume dropping in right there. There it goes, popped up. So that should spring it up. This should all recede. We want to see these recede. This is the market magnet, guys. It's very handy in predicting, you know, what's about to happen, and this is showing that it's going to be long biased. The shorters only made it halfway up the volume candle, and that volume wasn't as high. But then again, look what just happened. I got in on that because I think that's going to bounce way back up and retrace. So let's get a look. There's our goal. If you were trading along 100 shares with me, I'm going to wait for a bigger bounce here up. I think it's going to retrace up way above the 157. Let's see. Oh, it's going to make me a liar. 157.50. I will add to my position to half of my position. If it gets there, right when you think it's got a new channel up, it does that, right? So that's why you always got to be careful. It wants to turn around there. 54. Almost went in. There it is. Picked me up. So now we're having fun, right? That's what I like to say. So now I'm down to 68, but my red will go up much faster, so I have to be careful here. Looking for a little bit bigger move than even money up in there. Big pound up here. I'll take that. If it picks me up. There it comes. Swailing. See it swailing up? Yeah, it should. It died off right there. Who did? It's almost like somebody artificially. You can get spoofers in here. because it was actually going to pop once and then it went down real quick, which was interesting. But we made our goal. Hopefully you guys have gotten there, and we're still within the half hour by just, playing it cool. And now on these channels, so just to recap what's going on here, if you kind of just come in, is that we are doing large cap retracement channel trading, but we've just switched to, we might include mid cap with the new scanner settings. So we have two different scanner settings. This is the one that is now set for a 50K max volume per 1 minute, and I set it 20 deep. It gives us a lot more opportunities if we're having trouble or if you're trading throughout the day. And then the original scanner up here, if you make your scanners, save your scanners, and then make them into a watch list, and then you can click right on them to get to the stock you want. Here's the original scanner. So it only, even though I have it set for 10, because this is for 100K minimum volume per 1 minute candle. And why would I do that? Because it's giving you the movement in between with that volume. It's giving you the price movement on this is the level 2 I'm showing, like prices up and down, buy, bid, ask. You're looking for that swaling up and down, and then to get in and out of scalp trades quickly, but at the same time you're trying to create channels. It's channel trading. So, and how you do that is you set your Fibonacci always left to right. In this case, it's low to high. Sometimes it can be high to low, but it's always left to right. You use those as support and resistance, and then you set historical data levels where the price action has abruptly turned around. Now, what we've discovered in the first trading streaming live on this $100 a day challenge for this month is that a couple things. I trade the opening candle for fun, and I tell you guys don't do it, and that's gone wrong for me almost as many times as gone right. And I've been able to get out of it by swing trading it, but a lot of people can't do that. So really the strategy itself is waiting for consolidation, and what we've been discovering is I'm trying to force it in a certain time frame because I'm trying to end around a half hour after market open. And you don't get as many opportunities to create an upper and lower range yet because you're waiting for the day's action. You're looking for stocks that are consolidating, not trending. So you can always find stocks that are consolidating, not trending. Now, what I found out for the last few days is that I was doing mega cap and large cap, and it had to be 100,000 volume over 1 minute. And I wasn't, or the last few weeks even, I'm only getting like 5 to 8 stocks a day, the same usual suspects, and they are tending to trend a little out of channels a lot more. So now we're widening that up to some mid caps and smaller large caps that are below 25 billion market cap, right? So now we've made that market cap down to 2 billion. So it's a minimum of 2 billion. So that's a huge difference, and made the ATR average to range that it moves in a day from having to be above $2 to only $1.50. So that's a scanner setting that I made today. Once it seems like we're going to be grabbing these stocks, I'll make that available over at the $1 Million Margin Club. It does have custom coding in it, but you could probably figure it out on your own, really. But I don't know yet if it's going to work. But what happened, consistently, that basically that the stocks are going to move. Now, this is a 5-minute chart. And remember, marking your whole and half dollars is really important too. This is basically moving $1. This is a fantastic channel. It just held it again. So now that you have the right stock and you have the right action to trade in between, then you look for go short off the top, go long off the bottom, and you're looking for a stock that's consistently moving that way, consistently channeling. If it hops channels at any time, that could happen. Be ready, and then you're just on a new channel. But what you're really trying to do is to narrow the size of that channel to maybe 25-cent channels, like get into the real, what's really happening and the nuts and bolts. And that's why the 1 minute chart can help. And then I mark other levels in here. And then of course you have these custom indicators. See, that's the 50-cent mark. It also was historical data. So this one right here doesn't actually have any tighter channels. it has the even 157 even dollar here, right? So you would use that, see how it respected that many times. So that's kind of, and then it also has an ATR level, which I've gone over. I'm not going to go over the whole everything again, but this is, watch some of the other videos, excuse me, and you can see. And then earlier today, I managed to profit on my NVIDIA position from a debacle of yesterday. So that ended up going good. And I'm glad I got out when I got out, because it's down at $1.50 from when I got out. So if we look at it, I was purposely watching it at the open to make my move. And I got it on this spike right in here. This is a 5-minute chart. So somewhere in here, well, there was the position I had. So I got it out. I got it out up in here, like 20. I think what was it, 24 cents or something. I got out almost at the perfect. Looks like it spiked again, but really one of the high spots I could get out. I sold, and and I thought that might be my only opportunity. So I wanted to watch it at the open, because I had swung the position over a day. So. And it, when you don't make the trade the first day, it eats away a little at your confidence. So I got it back today a bit. So, I've been trading this type of strategy for many years, so I know that it works. But you got to control yourself. You got to be patient, and it should do okay for you. So, the RV stock today. Let's take a look. It could possibly be NVIDIA, although I know you guys are waiting to see what they're trading. I'm going to come in a little later to quarterback for it, but I think they already started. What do they have? Oh, they don't have NVIDIA. Okay, so what are they? They're showing me Apple over here. Let me take a look at Apple. That was my other position. It's gone now. Why is Apple any better? Let's see. I guess they wanted to trade Apple off of its situation. So let's take a look at that to see if I agree. Sometimes it will switch when I go there. Yeah, that's not a particularly good RV today, guys. So you're running it off the prior data over here then. So you're looking at the new low over here. So, yeah, well, okay. I see. So by the time you opened it up, you're looking for the RV strategy, you're looking for consolidating levels. So you almost wanted it to go lower, and then you would have had, because I remember we traded a lot around the 210 area. I'm not sure I would pick this as my RV stock, but they're already making money without me. Some of the AMD is up here. Just want to give you guys an opportunity. I know some of you see this looks like a better RV stock to me, just because of the consolidation pattern, but you're not going to get as big a moves, as much money, and everybody wants to go for the big money. Let's take a look at Tesla. And speaking of big money, so this had actually some interesting news on it. It was some bad and some good. Oh wait, we got earnings. Yeah, so what's the date today? That's today. Oh my God, you don't want to trade that. That's what they're not trading it. So, well, they're on Apple. You can't really do NVIDIA, so it's AMD, and you probably have a better opportunity to make money on Apple. It's ATR. AMD has a bigger ATR, guys. I'm not sure what you're doing. Apple's ATR is 376. Yeah, again, I would tend to pick AMD, so I might have a talking to when I start over there. Double check it here. Just want to double check this here to see if this is going to give me yeah, man, what's our swings on this? So now when I play the RV strategy, I'm going to be doing probably 1,000 shares. And so if I shorted here, yeah, it's $1,000. So, and then on the way back up, but I'd probably take some of these, but some of these smaller ones in here. But this over 30 minutes could make the 5K what I'm going for. I'm picking this, guys. If you're waiting for the pick for the, we're going to switch to this, and I will anyway. Well, I'm sure most people will come along. How are people doing over there? I see a couple of red people, so in the red, so not yeah, we don't want red. So okay, guys, that's today's installment. Be careful out there. I'm glad everything's come back for me, so I'm nice and profited for the month. I'll give an update on that either on the recap or tomorrow, so we can see how it all washed out with those swings, but it's all positive right now, so I know it's just a question of how much, okay? So I would follow the AMD channel trading if it was me, to keep doing this. I know I didn't go to any of the others. Maybe you can share with everybody if you found something on the mid caps that were moving. And then we'll keep checking the scanner to see how it's going to do as we move on through the week and next week and so on. Okay, guys, thanks for being here. Be careful out there. Always stay inquisitive and go green, and I will see you soon.